Hi there kid fans, Louise with you today. Thanks for popping in and checking out this video. I've gone really neutral for the first 3 shares this month as per what the kit inspired me to create, but it was about time after I'd sort of done 3 layouts that I felt like I needed to use a little bit of colour. And there is a couple of ways that this could go if you're looking to replicate this. You could sort of stick with what I did here and use the sticker sheets that have those little pops of those lovely soft autumnal colours there, or you could definitely bust your stash and look at mixing this with some ephemera packs from the past. I think some of the Vicky Booten, the Bright and Bold, and some previous kits where we've all been about pastels and really bright colours would be a great way to mix it up and bust some of your stash as well. But I'm going to sort of focus on the elements in this kit, and florals for me are not something that I create with super often. Being that I scrap mostly my boys, I don't tend to use florals a lot. So when I do, it has to be a pretty special page, and then the subject has to have that sort of more feminine feel to it. In this case, you can see I've chosen to line up my photos. Now, I print my photos at home and I print them in whatever size I think will work. So if I've got a series of photos, I'll often print them a little bit smaller. In this case, these are 2x3s, and I have lined them up. A little bit of a story that goes along with this page in case you can't read the journaling. We had a little impromptu visit to a town about 40 minutes from where we live in southeast Queensland, and it has this mountain that we have sort of said, one day we'll go there and we'll, have a look around. And it was on this day that we're like, okay, we've got some time to kill. Let's go to Boat Mountain and check it out. Now, when we got there, the first part of the conservation area is actually like 250 meters of stairs, and they go up. So it was like this massive climb, and because it was impromptu, none of us were dressed for climbing. I'm pretty sure I had like a pair of thongs on, so I actually did the climb in thongs. It was a fun little adventure, and of course when we got there we took some photos. Our other child, he happened to be visiting some friends at a party, and so it was just the 3 of us, and we had a bit of a look around on this mountain and had a little adventure trek. So that's the memory that I'm recording here. And of course, journaling is something that I sort of struggle to add, but I find that if I add it as a planned element, so I don't leave it till the end and think, oh crap, where am I going to put my journaling? In this case, I've popped it on one of the little tag cutter parts, and that really just helps me to make sure that my journaling fits in with my completed page. So starting in the background, I've got my torn elements. I have then got my row of photos. I've added a doily just to add that circular portion. I'm going to focus on adding some of these really pretty florals, which I think works quite nicely with the natural colours and the pink of the shirt that I happened to be wearing that day. And I'm going to build with some embellishments around my photo. This was one of those pages where I popped it aside for a couple of days and had a bit of a think about it, and it didn't quite feel finished. So I had to spend a little bit of time just deciding how I was going to continue this layout. And I thought that it was time to pull out some of those initial stash items that I had collected at the start of the month when I was prepping to create my design team projects. And so I use this washi tape, which I have had in my stash for quite some time. If you have a roll of washi tape, you could certainly use that as well, but mine just happened to come as a sheet in this particular case. Some of the other stash items that I had gotten out were the sprays. So I'm going to add some splatter sprays because I think it just looks great in the background, particularly if you are going to cover them up a little bit with some other embellishments. You just want a little bit of that sort of splatter poking out, and then to add some stamping as well. So the stamp set was from a previous kit, and it was like a text stamp, so I'm going to use that text stamp. I pulled out a stamping block to use, but then decided I wanted it to be a little bit rawer, and then the first time I stamped onto the background, the stamp was upside down. Thankfully it's a text stamp, so you can't really see or read what the words say, and most of it's going to be covered up again. This is just a little bit of something that you want poking out around those layers, and it adds that little bit of extra interest. All right, finally we need to glue some stuff down. I've let the background dry, so I really think that these little areas where there's some stamping and some letters mixed in with the sort of neutral kind of palette and the pops of the colour of the florals is super cute. So I'm really happy with how this layout turned out. Yeah, it really it worked, and it felt nice to add some colour to that really neutral kit that we had this month. Alrighty, gluing. The final thing I just needed was a bit of a title or something in this bottomish area. So I'm going to add that little word happy there, and that's my layout complete. Thank you so much for watching.